Well, you want me to start from? Like?
Start from the beginning.
Well, yeah, sort of just in a car, sitting in the shotgun fucking position. He's in the other one. I have my papers. You know, there's some grain on the ground that he's going to show me to look at. And then he's like, just tried to check over my ones, and out of nowhere, just grab to the side of the car, and then just fucking, you know, knife against your throat. Being asked to give in everything you have. Being told that you can be killed at any time. Just like having that knife as well, just rubbed against your neck and against your face. It's constantly slicing. Yeah.
And what happened then?
And then, yeah, just told to like hand everything over. They shove out my guy, open up what's in the boot, what's like the rest of mine and shit. Then just having all that taken, they took my phone as well, took his phone, took his car keys, left us stranded and failed with everything.
And how much did you lose?
$21,000.
My name is Marcus Graham, and this is the story of those whose lives have been affected by cannabis prohibition.
I made medicines out of cannabis. I distribute it out to people that are sick and dying in our country who have got interrupted by state police. Laws in this country don't mean nothing to me. You have to help people, you have to help sick people.
And the activists who are trying to make a change.
I've spent over half my life as a criminal and as an activist. The drug war has failed. It cannot succeed.
According to UN figures published by the medical journal The Lancet, Australia has the highest rate of cannabis users in the world. So it's time we talk about it. With an estimate of over $3 billion going towards enforcing prohibition, with up to 75% of cannabis-related offences being simply for use or possession, topped with the $400,000 spent this year alone on government's anti-cannabis campaigns, I guess the most obvious question is, has prohibition even deterred people from smoking weed?
Certainly not.
Not really.
No, not at all. In fact, if anything, it's probably the opposite.
No, if I want to smoke, I'll smoke. If I don't want to smoke, I won't smoke.
Marijuana prohibition has encouraged more use.
These days, over a third of the Australian population has tried cannabis at some point.
We've tried prohibition in this country since the 1960s, in America since the late 1930s. In both cases, it's been a massive failure.
I still had so many questions left unanswered, so I went along to the 420 protest outside Parliament House to try and get some of those answers. And while the message was strong,
literally billions of dollars of police money is spent on fighting an unwinnable war on drugs.
The crowd was small and disappointing.
I hope to see perhaps some of you, or if not, at least 10,000 other supporters of cannabis law reform up in Nimbin in a couple of weeks.
After hearing Mackay's words, I knew what I had to do. Me and a very small crew drove up to Nimbin for the experience of a lifetime. The protests were like nothing I've ever seen before. Hundreds upon hundreds of people rallying together for change. Amongst the crowds, I met a man named Tony Bauer.
Tony Bauer from Mulloway's Medical Cannabis. I basically just make cannabis extractions to help sick people. Because the anti-inflammatory products and that are in cannabis are really strong. The non-psychoactive side of it. Just can't get stoned off and drink. Give them out to people that, you know, chronically ill, cancer, HIV.
My name's Justin Brash and I've been HIV positive for the last 27 years. I've pretty well been using cannabis medicinally for that whole length of time.
I met up with Justin Brash at the 420 protest. Once I heard about him, I knew I had to try and get an interview with him.
I use cannabis mainly for the relief of nausea, restoration of appetite, as well as pain relief. I smoke mainly, so inhalation is the best way for me. I use a bit of tincture occasionally. How has it affected my life? Look, I think it would, you could say that it's kept me alive through the bad times. And there, over the last, 20 odd years, there has been plenty of bad times with illness. In fact, look, without cannabis, I have to take 3 more pharmaceuticals. Stemetal for nausea, buxapan for stomach cramping, and I would then have to take a painkiller along the lines of Panadine Fort or Tramadol or something to that effect. I once had a medical professional say to me that they had never quite seen cannabis, the medical effects of cannabis exhibited quite so well in me. They had watched me throw up over a period of quite a few hours, to the point where I was now dry reaching, stomach cramps, the works. Upon having a little bit of cannabis, just 2 small pipes, within 20 minutes, not only had I stopped throwing up, stopped cramping, but I was actually sitting at a table eating a bowl of noodle soup. And the medical professional said they had never seen anyone come out of a vomiting attack that had lasted that long and go straight into food. But with cannabis, it's possible. Without cannabis, it's not possible.
Medical marijuana tinctures, cannabis being used in replacement of pharmaceutical medications. Is there even anyone from a professional medical health background that supports this?
We have to recognise that the war on drugs has failed, as many speakers tonight have said, and we really do need to change.
My name is Dr. Alex Wodak. I'm president of the Australian Drug Law Reform Foundation. I'm also a board member of Australia 21. I've been involved in efforts to reform our ineffective, expensive and counterproductive drug laws for 25 years. In terms of what I think should happen with cannabis, I think we should be taxing and regulating it. By regulating it, I mean that we should have health warnings on the packets, help-seeking information. We should say what the packets actually contain. We should not permit sales under the age of 18. And of course, part of the answer to cannabis is to make it possible for people and lawful for people to use cannabis medicinally.
Anyways, it's time for me to leave Nimbin behind and head back to Sydney. I've met some weird people.
My name's Rusty Harris. I've been in and out of UFO experiences.
What do you think about the medical potential of cannabis?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
But a lot of the people I've met aren't the scary criminals I once pictured a drug user as. Some of these people used to be my friends. A lot were just kids. Some were suffering serious illnesses and some just felt abandoned by their government. I can't help seeing these people as victims, rather than criminals.
Down through scarlet valleys, I follow the twisted figures of my dreams.
Sorry.